All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining me today and every day on the interwebs. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, and on Callin. Talking about this and that. Yeah. It's another very warm day, as you can probably tell from how I'm dressed. It is extremely warm today. So I'm going to try and get through the show fairly quickly because when it's this warm, my my computer does not like it. It does not get happy. Let's see. So just waiting for things, and it's already things are kind of slow already. I'm waiting for things to load, etc., etc. And let's see. Starting off very quickly, news item out of Africa. There seems to be another coup in a former French colony of Gabon. Military coups continue across Africa. The army of Gabon took control of the government. They also are rich in uranium. Go figure. They have uranium, oil, and gas. I don't know if we're going to get any sound on this, but it's a very military sounding parade. Anyways, so that's happening. Let's move over to Idalia. I don't know. Oh no, do we have the knuckleheads are back? I don't know how to get rid of this guy on call-in. Anyways, maybe I'll just ignore the people, the paid knuckleheads. Floods due to Hurricane Idalia in Tampa Bay, Florida. Whatever you're doing, sir, you can't do anything to me. It's not working, okay? People are going to watch me, listen to me anyways. I don't care if you're trying to interrupt things or not. Anyways, this is happening in Florida. Already with the floods. And there's lots of these. So I'm just going to go through whatever I can go through. Here's an image of Hurricane Idalia making devastating landfall as a major hurricane in Big Bend. Did I have the same one? That's weird. I have two of the same ones. I don't know how I got it. Anyway, so Idalia is making landfall. Hold on one second. Thought I had something else loaded here, but I do not. But just keeping an eye on this. As expected, there is a bunch of storm surge in the Tampa Bay area. Waiting for things to load as usual. Okay. As the storm moves north into Georgia, Criswell warned Floridians to still be mindful of flooded roads. Do not wade in the water. Do not drive through flooded roads and streets. Just remember, turn around, don't drown. It sounds like it's a great slogan to take with you as you go out into the world. Turn around, don't drown. All right? Anyways, tornadoes possible in Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington. It's already moving northward into Georgia and the Carolinas, etc. So that is happening. We showed some images of some hail yesterday. More images of car smashed by huge hailstones. Canada is a wonderful place, but they are in denial about climate crisis. What with them producing a shed load of fossil fuels. It's from Matthew Todd. A shed load of fossil fuels. So we'll kind of try and see this. It's not very long. Anyways, you don't want to get caught in one of those. That doesn't look like a lot of fun. Frightening. Look at this. This is frightening too. Has anybody seen a bunch of images of this kind of stuff going on? But this is wild. Mudslide or mud flood torrents sweeping through the Uzumlu district of Erzincan in Turkey. This is insane. I saw several of these yesterday. Good God. That is just wild. That's very, very frightening. Beware of random mudslides. There were another couple of those that I saw that were just, I mean, this is happening. Oh, here's one in Switzerland. Massive mud flow. Here we go. Hard to see, but it's coming down this mountain and taking out, looks like it's about to take out some trees. Those are pretty strong trees. Wild. Okay, we're moving pretty quickly through the show today, which was my plan. I have something going on this afternoon. It also is very, very warm, so I didn't want to like do a longer show today and have everything just slow to a crawl. All right. Let's see. Fantoma sent me this, or Fantomas. I don't know. I'm just messing around. And y'all are wondering what is going on with the big airplane on the front of the show. And this is called a nuclear-powered Sky Hotel. Hey, Sky Hotel. And boy, what a great idea this is, especially when things are at their worst ever on the planet Earth. What you need is a nuclear-powered Sky Hotel to get away from it all. Enjoy all your favorite amenities, shopping malls, sports centers, spas, lounges, eateries. Let's watch this video kind of expound on the nuclear-powered Sky Hotel.
Introducing Sky Cruise, a nuclear-powered hotel suspended above the clouds. This futuristic sky hotel gives you the ultimate travel experience. It's big enough to accommodate over 5,000 guests. Its sleek design combines the features of a commercial plane while offering
5,000 guests, all up in the sky, just hanging. Would you want to be on the Sky Hotel? Especially when, you know, the weather is just fine. I don't know.
the epitome of luxury. Sky Cruise features a big hall that offers a 360-degree view of your surroundings. Here, you get to enjoy the most breathtaking views of nature from above. An elevator connects the panoramic hall to the main entertainment deck. It allows you to easily shuttle between the two locations. The main entertainment deck is perfect for recreational activities. It features shopping malls, sports centers, swimming pools, restaurants, bars, playgrounds for children, theaters, and cinemas. There's also a separate section for organizing events and business meetings. And if you want to declare your love above the clouds, Sky Cruise's wedding halls give you and your partner, along with your guests, a unique, memorable experience. The floors of the main entertainment deck are connected via 2 external elevators that come with a great view. Each side of the Sky Cruise features 3 balconies or viewing domes that are perfect for a relaxing time. Here, guests can enjoy a wide range of activities, including stargazing and watching Aurora Borealis up close. You don't have to worry about Sky Cruise's carbon footprint. Its 20 electric engines are powered solely by clean nuclear energy. A small nuclear reactor uses highly controlled fusion reaction to provide the Sky Hotel with unlimited energy. Thanks to nuclear energy, the hotel never runs out of fuel and can remain suspended in the air for several years without ever touching the ground. With Sky Cruise, you do not need to worry about air turbulence. Its navigation systems feature a state-of-the-art command deck that uses artificial intelligence to predict air turbulence minutes before they happen. If any potential air turbulence is detected, the system automatically prevents any vibrations from happening. It creates anti-vibrations that work like noise-canceling technology, allowing the Sky Cruise to glide over the vibrations with ease. Everything is engineered to perfection for your own comfort and safety. Say goodbye to jet lags, motion sickness, or the fear of flying. Sky Cruise has got you covered in case of any medical emergencies. The hotel features a facility equipped with the latest medical technology, aimed to keep you safe, healthy, and fit so you can enjoy your journey without any disruptions.
So you can enjoy your journey stuck on a plane for years. Oh my God. The earth has become uninhabitable. What do we do? Get on that plane. 5 years later. Glad I can be kept alive with the state-of-the-art medical facility. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's just going to fly around on nuclear energy for years. What could go wrong? Everything is engineered to precision. Okay? So that's all you need to know.
Despite having several large landing wheels, Skycruise rarely lands on the surface. Supplies and guests are delivered to the hotel using electric commercial airliners and private jets, which take off from different airports around the world.
You know those jets are green because they're electric. They're taking off from various airports around the world that are all carbon neutral. This is wonderful. I love this. This smells like the future to me. I'm so excited. I am so excited. I just can't hide it. Let's finish this.
Maintenance and repairs are also done above the clouds. The concept was originally designed by Tony Holmeston and reimagined and animated by Hashim Al-Ghaili.
Tony, you're a genius. Well, that was a cool movie, right? Did you guys like that? That was cool. Thanks for hanging out on Netflix watching this cool movie about a make-believe nuclear-powered airplane that flies around for years where everything is provided for you. Somebody in the chats said, I missed it. It was a while ago, but somebody was like, where's the plants and the animals? Where's all the food come from? Are they printing it in a what are they called? A bioreactor in the back of the plane? Nuclear powered bioreactor prints all your meat for you. Probably. I guess that's what they're thinking, is that like food is just going to come from, our food will be delivered by these super cool electric planes coming from various airports around the world. They're all carbon neutral. Oh my God. Anyways, that was interesting. Thanks, Phantomas. Here, okay. Moving on to some other news. Oh, I guess we're kind of, where are we now? We're going to call this a midway point of the show. And if you really enjoy the show, if you appreciate this show, here are the ways that you can support the show. Most directly, paypal.me/Kevin Sandblum, Venmo at Kevin Sandblum, Cash App at Red Llama Music, buymeacoffee.com/Blackburn News. I saw some people, I know people have issues with like PayPal or whatever, for moral reasons. That's fine. I understand that. However, it still works for me, and it's one of the only ways that I can get donations. So if you don't like using it for moral reasons, I understand, but you can still donate to me on that platform. I use it for several things, for music and for this platform, and which may or may not be a good idea. I don't know. Anyways, or you can super chat me, super ray me. That's a Rockfin tip. Send me a message. I will check it out at the end of the show. Buy me coffee. Of course, you can send a message with any of the donations. I will read it out at the end of the show. So thank you. And thank you to everyone who does support the show. There are many of you, and you know who you are. Speaking of nuclear power, there are, quite a few people out there talking about the Fukushima releasing radiated water into dumping it into the ocean. Obsolete Optics sent me a couple videos. Don't know if I'm going to play them today, but thank you for sending those, man. But at least, one of them is James Corbett. At least James Corbett understands that maybe we should be worried about radiated nuclear, waste going into the ocean. At least he understands that. I don't hear anybody else talking about, anybody in the alternative journalist world, I don't hear them talking about, the release of radioactive waste into the Pacific Ocean from Fukushima, as if it's not a story that's not even happening. Must be selective. I don't know. Maybe it's just too much to think about, right? That what a bummer. What a downer story. Well, we're screwing the biosphere little by little, or maybe, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Sometimes I think that's backwards. Slowly, sometimes quickly. So I'm sure that'll be great for the future of humans on the planet. Positive of that. All right. Speaking of payment platforms, some people use GoFundMe. I don't have a GoFundMe account, but apparently GoFundMe canceled the Gray Zone. You guys are familiar with the Gray Zone, their work. They do good work. Hold on one second. I'm going to get to this in just a second. Sorry, just checking to see that I haven't received anything yet as far as a donation, tip, or message. Just making sure I don't miss anybody. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, the Gray Zone got canceled by GoFundMe. This is Nico House. GoFundMe froze a fundraiser started by the Gray Zone, citing external reasons. Externalities. It seems to be part of a pattern where big tech and government and entities heckle, harass, and censor members of the Gray Zone's team for the crime of doing investigative journalism. I mean, this is happening to all walks of alternative journalists, right? I mean, if you're not demonetized on YouTube or shadow banned on YouTube, which I'm mostly like shadow banned on YouTube. I'm greatly throttled. My channel is massively throttled on YouTube, also on Twitter. So it's hard to make any money there. So pretty much the only recourse I have are direct donate links, and nobody's messed with me yet. That doesn't mean that's an invitation. I'm really hoping that never happens. But it's getting harder for alternative journalists to do the job of journalism because they don't want people doing journalism. They want people repeating what they tell them to repeat. A la, I think that's called Project Mockingbird. Repeat after me. Do not go outside the lines. Do not draw outside the lines. Do not color outside of the lines. Do not give any unapproved messages. Do not question. Do not entice people to do their own research. Do not entice people to question the narrative, etc. I think you guys get it. Well, let's watch this from Nico House.
GoFundMe decided to freeze the fundraiser for the Gray Zone after they raised over $90,000 for their investigative work. GoFundMe cited external concerns as to why they ultimately chose to freeze the Gray Zone's fundraiser. Now, personally, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would be willing to bet that those external concerns rhyme with CIA, especially considering that this isn't even the first time that Gray Zone's team members have been heckled by big tech and government entities for their investigative reporting. For example, Upon entering London, Kate Clarenberg was interrogated for 5 hours by counterterrorism police about the Gray Zone. Then there was a time that the managing editor of the Gray Zone reported on Ukraine targeting civilians in the Donbass region, and as a reward for his stellar investigative journalism, PayPal and Venmo permanently deactivated his accounts without any real explanation as to why. As most of you probably know, this isn't even the first time that GoFundMe is engaged in these antics. We can look at what they did to Mint Press, or the time that they took millions of dollars from the truckers that were striking in Canada and just decided they were going to keep the money. GoFundMe is simply proving once again that it is just another establishment, big tent asset who is tasked with censoring anyone who dared to tell the truth about the emblem.
Yeah. $90,000 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money to confiscate. And do you have the right to confiscate that? That's, my first thought. This is usually what happens, though. It's when they demonetize you or deactivate your account. They just keep whatever is in there. Isn't that theft? That's your money. That is your money. Somebody sent that from, directly from themselves, their bank account to you. I mean, I think that's just straight up theft. I don't see how that's even legal. Like, if you want to deactivate somebody's account, at least, here you go. Here, we're going to deactivate your account. Here's your one-time, passcode or whatever to get your money out of here. But then, get your money in and we'll, like, if you were going to have your bank account closed, right? Wouldn't you be able to go get your money out if it was still in there before they close the, a la a bank run? But it just seems wild that they just keep the money. Seems rather insane. But that's unfortunate. That's really it's anger inducing, right? Anyways. And let's listen to I know you guys probably heard me talk about the show, The Painkiller Show. I don't know if anybody has seen that, Painkiller, on Netflix, which is a pretty good documentary about Purdue Pharma and their making and pushing of OxyContin and, destroying so many people's lives through the pushing of this drug, basically pharmaceutical heroin. It was a really good documentary, and this is Peter Berg, who produced the documentary. He's on Joe Rogan, talking about what they do and how it works. Painkiller producer Peter Berg on how the FDA and medical journals partnered with Purdue Pharma. So the FDA and medical journals partnered with Purdue Pharma to approve this drug that they damn well knew was dangerous, right? So, trust the science, right? Trust the science, bro. It's just science. They're here to help you. Trust the science. The FDA, right? They totally care about you. And these pharmaceutical companies, they're just trying to help you. Trust the science. Just remember to trust the science. All right. Let's listen to this.
And the other, I think, big part of the story that surprised me was the FDA, right? The FDA's role in opioid approvals. And in the case of OxyContin, we think about like the FDA as this big, giant bureaucratic organization. And, you think, we were talking about stem cells a little bit earlier, that if you want to get an approval for a drug, you got to send it to the FDA. And it's going to be reviewed by this massive board of scientists and experts, and they're going to make a determination after careful analysis, right? That's not how it works. And in the case of OxyContin, the whole approval process came down to this one guy, this guy named Curtis Wright. And Curtis Wright, when the Purdue Pharma needed the FDA to approve. They'd spent $30 million developing this drug. The whole business of drug developing is fascinating, but they were all in, and they needed this drug, and to keep the company alive, they needed the FDA to approve it. And this guy was like, I can't approve this. This is heroin in a pill. No. Well, and they kept trying to get him to approve it, and they kept trying to get, and they started trying to like pump his ego up. They started writing articles with him. They started trying to, schmooze him and charm him. He wouldn't approve it. Finally, and no one knows the facts, they took him to a hotel on the East Coast. Purdue Pharma took Curtis Wright of the FDA, spent a couple of days in this hotel room. They came out of the hotel room with an approval, with the language, OxyContin, quote, is believed to be non-addictive, is believed. If you think about that language, it had never been used in an approval process before, ever. Made no sense. Is believed. Not is not, but is believed to not be addictive. A year later, he leaves the FDA, where he's making probably 50 grand a year. Where does he go work? Purdue Pharma.
Ugh.
For $400,000+ a year.
That revolving door still exists today. That people go from the FDA right into pharmaceutical companies today.
For sure. And
It's so weird that that's legal.
And another big part of the game are these medical journals, right? Like there's something called the New England Journal of Medicine. And like a big thing is for a doctor in these journals are owned by the pharmaceutical companies, right? So think about it. You own Purdue Pharma, you either buy or control medical journals that write favorable articles about your products, about your drugs. So in the case of OxyContin, there was a small, like almost a letter to the editor written about OxyContin being less than 1% addictive. In a medical journal, which sounds like official and like, okay, well, damn, Joe is in a medical journal.
Right.
Let's go. But these are controlled by drug companies, and they're not legit. It's fake news. It's real fake news, and it's all part of the ecosystem of selling drugs. And these are the big drug dealers. Like we talk about Chapo or Pablo Escobar. Eric Newman, my buddy who was the exec producer on this, he produced Narcos, and went deep on Pablo Escobar, and he's like, when he first said you want to do this, he's like, these are the real drug dealers. These are the drug dealers putting up the real numbers, and they're the drug dealers who put their name on museums like the Metropolitan, the Guggenheim, the Louvre in Paris. These are the big time hard hitting drug dealers.
Yeah, they're real gangsters.
Oh, they're fucking gangsters, man.
Yeah. Right. The real cartels are not, the Mexican drug cartels. The real cartels are the multinational corporations that are just here to help you. When I'm talking about trust the science in a negative way, what I mean is don't follow. They're not following the science, right? There's a difference between trusting the science and following things that are scientific. And we'll get to that in a second. Right? Because are they following the science on climate change? No, they're not. They're not following the science. They're doing all kinds of things, surrounding climate change that are not very scientific, not grounded in science, mostly grounded in business, mostly grounded in turning a buck, turning climate change into a profit-making opportunity. That's not trusting the science. That's not following the science. But they're going to tell you to trust the science. All we need to do is make a bunch of renewables and, windmills and wind turbines and solar power and nuclear-powered flying ships. And that'll turn climate change around. That's trust the science, not follow the science. But a lot of people still want to trust the science. All right. Discernment is key. Discernment is key. Discerning what is pseudoscience from what is real science is key. And nobody's going to help you do that but you, right? They're not going to do that for you on CNN. Because they push pseudoscience on CNN, right? You have people, talking about, well, this platform is like this. These people, this outlet is wrong because they have this kind of slant. Well, yeah, if you watch regular AP, Reuters, CNN, they all have a slant. The slant is corporate masters. That's the slant. Those are the outlets you want to give the biggest side eye to. And also, medical journals, etc., right? You want to give them the biggest side eye because they're the ones that are going to push pseudoscience for a little bit of that cheese, right? We know this is happening. We know this is happening. This is happening. It's true. It's real. It's what's happening. And that is the thing that you should be aware of in your decisions. Just putting that out there so that people make better decisions. That's all. Or try. Oh, this is wild. I didn't even know anything about this. Did you know that in 2002, I'm trying to wrap up the show here. 9/11 was so helpful in so many ways, right? All the bills and the Patriot Act and everything that they passed after 9/11, because everybody was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Who did this? Right? Everybody was looking for a scapegoat, and everybody was looking to be mad at somebody, right, to pin the tail on the terrorists. Everybody was so upset that they passed a whole bunch of bills, and nobody even blinked an eye. Nobody even was like, huh, what? Nobody even had a chance to look into what was going on. So did you know that in 2002, in the post 9/11 Homeland Security Bill, a secret writer snuck in a provision that would dismiss all lawsuits against Eli Lilly and other vaccine companies for using mercury-based preservatives in vaccines? Why did they sneak this in? You have to ask yourself this. Is it because they knew that mercury-based vaccines or vaccines containing mercury were damaging? Is that because they knew that? I mean, you would think by the method of deduction, you would think, well, they snuck this in here because they knew, right? Because they knew this. If they knew this, that's, then they know that it's premeditated, intentional, et cetera, whatever, right? How many more examples do people need to see before they understand that we're dealing with actual murderous criminals here? It's indefensible on every level. Just the intent, an attempt to try and seal all those court documents shows that they're all guilty, and vaccines most certainly cause things. Let's listen.
It has everything to do with the greater greed.
In 3 separate cases, a special federal court ruled that thimerosal, a vaccine preservative containing mercury, does not cause autism.
Thimerosal was found to be in vaccines at levels far above all mercury exposure guidelines. In 3 of the test cases in what was called the omnibus autism proceeding would represent thousands of parents from the stance that thimerosal had caused their children's autism.
For families to be compensated, all they had to prove was that it is possible thimerosal was to blame. And still, that argument fell short.
The judgment read loud and clear. Thimerosal does not cause autism, except for when it does.
The government conceded liability in the case of Hannah Pulling, who's now kind of the poster child for the movement.
The question is, did childhood vaccines cause a 9-year-old girl from Georgia her autism symptoms? Did they cause it?
Over 2 years before the omnibus judgment was made, this same court system had already quietly awarded and replaced Hannah Pulling as a potential thimerosal test case.
One of the most disturbing things about this case is that the government did in fact settle, but now the case has been sealed.
I think the reason they conceded Hannah Pulling was so that the records would be sealed and no one would be the wiser.
Back in 1999, 8 years before the Hannah Pulling case, the Centers for Disease Control had run their initial analysis of thimerosal and found a major association with autism. Transcripts from a secret meeting in 2000 to address these findings were very clear regarding one of their concerns. Then, just over a year later, as we all witnessed a national tragedy, others saw this as an opportunity.
There are a lot of tough decisions that will be made as we develop and and discuss and debate how to move forward.
In November of 2002, Congress passed the Homeland Security Bill, which created the Homeland Security Department. And the whole country woke up the next morning and it was reported that late at night, right before the bill was passed, somebody had slipped in a secret writer that would have dismissed all lawsuits against Eli Lilly and other vaccine companies for having put this mercury-based preservative in vaccines.
The exact day the Homeland Security Act was signed, the White House had the Justice Department file a motion to seal all documents related to hundreds of claims that thimerosal and vaccines had caused autism.
It was the most ridiculous motion ever filed in federal court, and under pressure, the Bush administration quickly withdrew that.
These deceptive acts were raising red flags everywhere.
I'm going to have to go find that. I think that's a piece of a larger documentary, so I think I'm going to have to go check that out. Last thing I'm going to play before I take off, and this is an interview with RFK talking about the fact that no vaccines have been adequately safety tested. He states, I'm not anti-vaccine and all my kids have had all their, I was like, well, if you know this about vaccines, why would you have your kids? Why would you do that? Because I knew about what's in there and what's going on, and so I chose not to. Anyways, let's listen to this.
What are your views on the safety of vaccines just in general?
Oh, well, you know, you have to answer that question one at a time because each vaccine has different characteristics, and for each one, you have to measure the advisability of the vaccine based upon the efficacy and safety profile of that product, and then the risk of the infectious disease that it's trying to prevent. The problem with most of the vaccines currently, all of the vaccines currently mandated, the 72 doses of 16 vaccines currently mandated for children under the CDC schedule, is that none of them have been properly safety tested. Vaccines are exempt preclinical trials that do double-blind placebo testing, the kind of testing that we apply to every other medical product. Vaccines are not required to do that testing, so we don't know the risks of any of the vaccines currently mandated for our children. I actually sued the HHS in 2018 because for many years I've been saying that vaccines aren't safety testing, and they've been saying yes, they are. And so I sued them in 2018 after saying, show me a single safety testing, pre-license for safety testing for any vaccine that is currently mandated for children. And after a year and a half of litigation, HHS admitted that yes, it had never safety tested any of the vaccines. And because they're not safety tested, we don't know the risk profile. Oh, nobody.
So, to recap, HHS admitted. They admitted this. So, I know a lot of people don't want to, they don't want to hear this, or this is, these are facts laid out by an intelligent person putting out facts. And I know that people want to dismiss this. But, it is what it is. Anyways. That about does it for me. I'm going to check in on the coffees and all the other things. Again, if you appreciate this channel, lots of ways to support someone, and I don't know who the someone is. If this is you, speak up. I don't know if this is Scott or somebody else. It's a full blue supermoon kind of day. Oh, someone bought me 5 coffees, so thank you. It's a full blue supermoon kind of day. Way past time to support the show. Love your work and the community you have gathered. Thank you. Thank you, someone. If someone, I don't know who's this is, so if it's, give me a shout out in the chats if you want to identify yourself, or if you don't want to, that's fine too. Denver Attaway tipped me on Rockfin. Fusion engines, eh? Sure, and I'm meeting my buddy, the Prophet Muhammad, for shots at the strip joint at 5 p.m. Nice. Thanks, Denver. I appreciate that. Check out some other spaces and places here before I take off. Thank you all for being here. I'll be here at the regular time tomorrow. You know the deal. You know the thing, man. I think that's it. I think it is so. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Thanks for hanging out with me every day on the internets. And sorry, just looking at something real quick before I take off. Contemplative Prague said, "It's me." Thanks. Thank you, Contemplative Prague. Appreciate the coffees. Thank you. Super cool. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow at the regular time. And until next time, peace.